I recently replaced this tank water heater. It was a natural gas fired version by Bradford White with a power vent. It's 50 gallons and it was not regulating temperature properly anymore. It's 10 years old, so I replaced it thinking that, it's the tank might be compromised, but it's hard to really tell from the outside because everything's clad. You can get a peek at the underside a little bit, but it's hard to know what's going on inside the tank. So I thought I'd answer that question. Did I make the right decision by replacing this after 10 years? We're going to cut this thing out, take it apart, cut it open, and take a look inside to see what was really happening with corrosion inside this mild steel tank. Not much to look at here. I'm curious to see how thick this insulation is. Looks very well distributed, pretty well insulated. Nominal thickness turned out to be 1 inch. I stripped off all the insulation in the line around so we can cut this tank in half, take a look at the inside, and see what the inside of a 10-year-old water heater looks like. As I go to lift off the top, I just discover that the flue is welded on the top and bottom of the tank, so restricting that off. So I got to cut around the weld on the top to free it up. The top is free. Moment of truth. What is going on inside this tank? Would you look at that? The darn thing looks nearly new. There is no corrosion going on inside this tank. It is in very good condition. There is a deposit at the bottom of the tank. It's kind of a mud or a silt. I did do a few flushes of the tank over its life, but not many. I'm on a city water source. They use well water. And I've got a water softener before this. But with the flushing, I don't know if that silt would come out. It's been a few years since I did it, so I don't know if it would just build up since the last time I flushed it, or it's been there slowly building up over its whole life and a flush doesn't get it out. It was stuck relatively good to the bottom, so I don't know if water movement would be enough to get that out. But overall, I did not need to replace this thing. It's in incredible shape. So if you're on a city water source or pretty low hardness water, if you've got a softener or water treatment at your house, I should have replaced the controls for this and just kept it in service. There's no need to replace the tank, but hard to know until you cut it open and look inside. Unless your basement is flooded. We've all heard those horror stories where the tank bottom corrodes through and it floods your basement. Anyway, after this, I was left with the problem of what do I do with this tank? So you can see I elected to strip all that insulation off so I could cut it apart easily and recycle it. I felt bad for taking this thing out of service when clearly it had a lot of life yet. So the least I could do was recycle this metal. And it made it much easier to haul out of the basement in pieces too. And then haul to the recycler. I could fit it all in the back of my Tesla Model Y. I was even able to fold up the sheet metal cladding and fix it in there. Thanks for watching. Adios.